Good morning, guys. This is Lansky again here at my Android Studio channel. Uh, in my previous video, I've shown you a tutorial on Android Studio navigation drawer or sidebar navigation template. And let's go over that video again. It's more of a slide presentation, although it's really complete when it comes to the required code for a navigation drawer. So first I showed you the structure of an app with a navigation drawer. So you have your activity.java and a corresponding layout for that, and another resource file which is of the type uh, which you put under your menu folder, and you create a menu folder under the rest folder, which is really a resource file. So this is basically the layout for that. And to configure your drawer.xml, or you can name it activity underscore main underscore drawer.xml, it should this is the one that contains your navigation items, and inside that you have the menu tag, and inside the menu tag are item tags, which can also have a sub item tag. So you can look up my that video. Just go to the description of this video and you can click the link for that video in order to listen to it if you have not done yet. And you have your activity underscore main.xml. You can have a linear layout for that, and within that linear layout should contain your other items, XML objects. You can have your toolbar, which would replace the default toolbar, and you can have for it a drawer layout, and inside that drawer layout widget contains your frame is contained the frame layout, and it also contained within that is your navigation view widget. So you should provide an ID for each of the following items. Of course, your toolbar should have an ID. You can name it just toolbar, and your frame layout should have an ID. You can name it container view, and your navigation widget should also have an ID. And in addition to that, the drawer layout itself should have an ID for you to call them inside your .java. And you do the required code inside your .java, which is of course I've shown you that you have your bare bone on create, and then you create a drawer layout variable and navigation view variable, and after that you assign that to the XML objects on your activity underscore main.xml, and you have your click listeners, and after that you have your set up to the drawer toggle of the toolbar. So that's basically the theory of this navigation drawer in that previous video. And for today, we go directly to our Android Studio to create that uh, the actual coding of that navigation drawer. So let's go ahead. Okay, you can choose actually any API you want. So click next. Okay, it's done. So you have a navigation drawer here. That's a template, but we're gonna do it from scratch. So click next. Okay, I have not noted this before. The reason for this is that I have updated my Android Studio, and including the corresponding SDK and the IDE itself. So maybe it requires some other components for it to work. So click finish. Okay, so we're done. The first thing that we do here is to create folder under the rest folder. So right click and then click directory, and let's name it menu. Okay, I now have my menu folder here. I'll be making a clicking on it, and just like that, right click and new menu resource file. So I would name it, actually we can name it anything we want, but if you have many activities, you should name it as connected. For example, for each of your activity that has a navigation drawer, you have, for example, you have different uh, navigation items. For that, you should create a different resource file for that. So you could connect the name of the activity to the word drawer.xml. So like in this case, our layout is activity underscore main. We could type activity underscore main and then connect underscore drawer. So that would create this file here. So within that, we have our menu tags here. So we can create items inside this one. So sorry, like that. Our item should have a title. So title could be, for example, your first item is home. So you have your home page within the app, and another is you should provide an ID. So ID. So for example, nav item home, and then an optional one is an icon. So for our case here, we can just provide the icon, whatever is present in our MIP map folder. So just use the launcher as the launcher icon for that, but you should provide a useful icon that is representative of the name here, the title, which is home. But for now, let's just use the icon present in our MIP map folder, which is our default launcher icon. Okay. So going back, we could add another one. For example, we have two items. Okay. So title, and let's just use about us, and then ID, nav item about us. So the ID is important because when you create the on-click listener for this navigation items, you should be calling the ID for you to be able to provide an event that would fire, or something that would the app would do in the event that these navigation items would be clicked or tapped. Well, but actually, the only thing that you would be doing when it's tapped is to go to a certain activity or page within the app. Either it's directly to a certain fragment or the main fragment of a certain activity. So you provide the icon again, so MIP map launcher. So just modify that on your own code. So if we end up, we're not gonna see this at first because we have not yet configured the other items. So in our steps, so of course the first step is your drawer.xml to provide the navigation items. We have done this already. We now go to our the layout for our activity. So of course we should have a toolbar. So this is the layout. So within that, let's just remove this one. I prefer a linear layout for this. Okay, let's do a linear layout. Okay, so we now have our linear layout, and within that, of course, you should have a orientation and do it as vertical. I prefer a vertical orientation. Sorry. And of course, you have your width. This is required, so match parent. And you have your height. Okay, so I think this will do for now. And then you have your toolbar. So toolbar should be match parent, and the height is wrap content. And the other items that should provide for your toolbar is, let's just look at the guide. So we have here, of course, you have to provide the color. So what's the color of your toolbar? Why is it like that? So it says here background. Sorry, it's not the color but the background. So background, but you have to choose a color for that. Just choose this one, which is already in your colors.xml. So this is the pink one. You can choose the blue if you want. I just use the pink one because the default toolbar is blue. So you would see that the Android manifest provide its own toolbar, and we have our own toolbar here, resulting to a double toolbar. But I will be showing you how to remove the default toolbar. So let's go back, and then other things here is your theme, and then the app name. So you can use the app name as the title for the toolbar, but the important thing here is the ID. So of course, let's provide the ID, and let's call it toolbar. And for the app title, is it like the syntax like that? Yes, the syntax is app title equals, you could just call this string app name or provide your own here. So why is it this like this red? Because we have not yet put this one. Okay, I think we need to just copy the other one in my previous demo. Actually, you don't need to memorize all these things. This is the app schema. The app schema is really important. I will be providing this this part of the code in the description, so that you just could copy and paste that in your own app. So the schema is very important so that this would not become an error. So let's just add that. This is the app schema, so it's not in red anymore. So that's it. Other things are not as significant. We can do with this. And after that, we need to create a drawer layout widget. This is the same level as the toolbar widget. Drawer, okay, that's it. And the drawer layout should be match parent, and then height is match parent. Okay, I think it's both match parent. And of course, the only thing that you need to provide again here is the ID. So let's just name it drawer layout, or you can name it anything you want. Okay, and you have to provide your frame layout within this. The frame layout would be the one that would contain the various aspects of the navigation that would be called here. Or let's see how that connects. This frame layout is called in your code here. Mhm. Actually, no, not here, not there. Okay, so the frame layout is really not important. Sorry for that. The frame layout is not really important for the navigation drawer, but it's important when you have a tab layout because it is being called when the uh, let's see, it is being called when the tabs are being passed into the activity. It is a container for the whatever XML objects is within your fragments or tabs. It is called because it is where the content of that tab or fragment should be placed. But for navigation view purposes, we really don't need this frame layout yet. But let's just create this one, and you can provide an ID for this too. And let's just create name this container view. So the reason that you name it as container view because it would contain the XML objects of your fragments or tabs in a tab layout. But for navigation view, it's not really needed yet. So what's needed for us is our navigation view widget. Okay, so we need the navigation view widget to be inside our drawer layout. So it is not being detected because we have not yet provided certain dependencies here. We are missing a certain dependency. So I should have included that I will be including that in the description. But for now, let's go to my other demo app. I have already included that there. So the important thing is this the design as respects to with respect to the design. We need this for here, but basically it's only, I think it's only this one, the design. Let's try this design here. I think that's the only one we need. Okay, and click sync now. Okay, so okay, mixing version. So the what you should do here is to synchronize the versions and make it like that. So 2.5.2.2, everything should be 2.5.2.2. Okay, so the error is gone. So we now go back to our layout and create the navigation view widget. Okay, so it's now there. So the navigation view widget is now there. So we use width is wrap content because we don't want to cover the entire screen when the navigation items show, but the height should be match parent. So as you can see, we are able to create the navigation view widget because we already have this dependency com.android that support design 25.2.0. So if you have a lower version or higher version for your other dependency, especially the app compat, you should synchronize the versions here for you to be able to sync your Gradle file. So okay, so that's it. The other items needed there is, of course, you now have the width and the height. The important thing, you should set the layout underscore gravity to start, provide an ID, and you could provide a text color for that. And the important thing is for you to provide to point the app schema into the menu that would be used for our navigation view, which is inside our menu folder, the particular resource file. In this case, our resource file is the same, activity underscore main underscore drawer. But if you only have named it drawer.xml, it should be name of the folder slash name of the XML file. Could be drawer.xml if that's what you want. And you should provide a layout underscore margin top. I used negative 5 dp here. The higher the negative, the nearer is the first item to the toolbar. So if I make this negative 10 dp, it's nearer to the first item is nearer to the toolbar. But the lower the negative or zero or positive number, the first item is farther from the toolbar. I would be showing you this one in our demo. So let's proceed. The other items is ID. So let's just name this nav view. So let's change it. So it's not like not like my slide. So we can see it in action. How we modify it. We modify it in our .java. So we have the other things we need is layout underscore gravity. Okay, equals start. Okay, and then another thing is our app, the important thing that I have told you. So it should be menu. So it shows there we have the resource file under our menu folder, this one. So what's the other thing that we missed? Of course, the color. We omit the color at this point. And here I have provided the schema. You know, don't need it anymore because we have this at the top, including this other schema here. What we need is our layout margin top. Okay, let's make a higher negative here. For example, 15 dp. Okay, so the moment we run this, it would not work yet because we have not yet configured our .java. Okay, so we now have two toolbars here. But actually, the toolbar that we need is the one that we can call the ID. So not this default toolbar. So how do we remove this default toolbar? You go to your manifest and you see here that the theme is this one. You create a theme that does not support a toolbar. So you have this Android theme equals style @ app theme. So you replace this app theme, you just write T and a couple of style is displayed. So you look for something that says no action bar. No action bar. We need something like that. No action bar. I can't find one. So let's just make this no instead of T. So there it is, no action bar. Okay, if you run that one again, there's no more double toolbar there. The only thing that it is the one we have configured, which is the pink one. So you see here that the label is the app name, so you could change that. Go to your activity, so you have here the app title is your string app name, so you can change this one in your own default. So let's see, modified title. So if you run that one again, the title is different now, so you have your modified title. Okay, let's make it navigation drawer demo. Okay, so we have changed it to navigation drawer demo. So the toolbar is not yet showing because the navigation link here is not yet showing. That's what I mean, sorry. Because we have not yet coded our step 3, which is our main activity.java. So you have here your barebone activity extends up compat activity. So you create a drawer layout variable. You name it anything you want. So let's name it DL, and navigation view, name it NV. Okay, and the next thing is to connect that to your XML objects in your layout, which is activity underscore main.xml. So that's DL equals drawer layout and find view by ID. So that's your drawer layout. Okay, and then NV equals, so this is fairly basic. All Android developers should know how to connect variable names to corresponding XML objects. So that's nav item, nav view. So in our structure here, you call it set up the drawer layout and navigation view. So could provide a when you do some coding in your real world apps, you always provide a description of what this particular code is doing. Set up or connect variables drawer layout and navigation view variables to XML objects. Okay, so the next thing for you is to create the on-click listener. So the one that calls the on-click listener is the navigation view variable. So that's nv dot set on-click listener, new on-click listener. Okay, is that correct? Let's check. So what I have here is, no, it's not on click, it's navigation click or navigation item click, sorry. So that was wrong. Set navigation item selected listener, new on navigation selected. So the only thing that you should remember is the set navigation item selected listener, and just create a new here, and you'll be given some choices. Just select something that says navigation, and everything here is pre-formatted for you. And you create the put here the code that would be called whenever an item is clicked or tapped inside the navigation view object or the navigation view sidebar navigation thing. So whenever it's clicked, of course you have to close the drawer. So our drawer variable is dl dot close drawer. Okay. Why is it? Is it wrong? Close drawers. Okay. So after closing the drawer, you now pass something, an instruction to the app to open the particular activity that you want to open, or to execute something that you want executed. So you can either create a toast or create an activity from which the app would go after clicking a navigation item. But of course, a toast is not really a good way of showing it, because you don't need a toast, you didn't need a navigation item or navigation drawer or any form of sidebar navigation just to show a toast. The reason you do a navigation drawer is for you to go to another activity within your app. So let's create a sample activity here. Let's create an about us activity. So in this particular case, of course, your main activity should be your home. So let's in our main, okay, so this contain we can remove this one. Let's create a text view. Text view, could remove this. Let's just create this like this. And ID, no, not ID, text, and create home. It's, I have a wrong syntax here. Just go here and drag it and go back. Where is it? Where's our text view? I think it's not correct for me to remove the frame layout. I was wrong in that. So the frame layout contains whatever object you put inside your main layout here. Let's just go back to that. Okay, if I drag this one, now it's working and it's inside your frame layout. So sorry, I apologize for that. The frame layout is still needed because it would contain its own objects. So you can have here home, just to demo this one, and we can have that centered. Let's go to the, change the alignment here, gravity, should be, let's see what's the effect. Oh, now it's centered. And then text alignment, center. Okay, just for purposes of showing this, let's make the text size bigger. Example 50 dp. So just like that, and we can create another activity, which for the about us, okay, so let's go to the layout, drag some text there, and type something. About us. Okay, so we won't configure this. It's just for demo purposes that we go to this activity. So here inside your code here, create an int variable, int, just use id equals item, use the menu item variable here, item dot get item ID. So we use that this int ID variable is as something that would get the ID of the app inside our switch. So switch ID, pass the ID here, and then like that. So case r.id.nav item home, and then you have a break statement for every case. Case r.id.nav item about us, and another break statement. So here you can just create an intent for you to go to another activity. So name it intent home equals new intent, okay, this, and then the name of your our home is the main activity class, okay, and then start the activity. Okay, wait, let's just import first the necessary class. Import class, okay. It's instead of this, just use get application context, but on some instances you can use this. I think it's just inside this navigation view you cannot use this, but use get application context, and then start the activity, this one, and pass an intent variable, which is in this case intent home. So just copy this one here and create another name for the intent about us, and pass that intent here. And so that's it. This would fire now. Oh, we need to put another one. Let's go back to our this one. I'm really not able to memorize this one. Of course, this is your toolbar. You create a toolbar widget variable, and you connect that to the toolbar. You equate that to the widget and connect that to the toolbar XML, and you create a toggle and pass drawer layout variable name. Okay, let's try to do this from scratch, although I really would like just to copy that. We create a toolbar, oh no, Android that support that v7, okay, that widget toolbar, okay, wow, survived that. Can name that anything, name that TV, and then Android that support 7 toolbar, okay, and then find view by id r.id toolbar. That's the name of our XML, okay. And then the next thing is action bar drawer toggle. You don't really need to memorize this thing, but if you can memorize this thing, it's better.